She is sure. She is sure. She is strong. She is strong. She is true. She is true. She is brave. She is brave. She is bold. She is bold. She is you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's Word of Mom Radio here on the Word of Mom Media Network. I'm your host, Dori DeCarlo, and you know we are here week after week, show after show, breaking those myths that mompreneurs and business women, especially those of us building our businesses from home, that we're just dabbling in between bake sales and getting our nails done. We're not. We are smart, we are savvy, and we are sharing the wisdom of women in business and in life. And I'm looking forward to bringing today's guest into our show. Rachel Allen, in her own words, is a fast-thinking, deeply nerdy marketer with a broad-ranging experience in not-for-profit and for-profit sectors. She's written for some of the biggest and smallest names in business and excels at marketing that equals parts-driven data and human-centered. Having run a marketing business for 17 years with clients in over 21 countries, Rachel's written for some of the top names in entrepreneurship, as well as influencers, brick-and-mortar businesses, and nonprofits around the world. Her work has contributed directly to high ROI launches, leaps in audience engagement, industry awards, relationships with top venture capital firms, and national level honors. And I could keep going on, but I'd much rather have Rachel come in and share her journey with us. So with all that being said, Rachel, welcome to Word of Mom Radio.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. That was such a lovely intro.
It's cool to listen to the stuff that you've done. It's like, wow, I forgot about that.
Sounds cool, yeah.
I would love for you to take us on your journey that led you to the work that you're doing now.
Well, I actually didn't know I didn't have any plans on being a marketer. I didn't know what copywriting was until the day I started doing it. I had gone to college for journalism, and then I graduated into the 2008 recession. And so, of course, no one's hiring. And I sent out a whole bunch of resumes, couldn't get a job. The only place that I could find work was unpacking boxes in the Old Navy warehouse on the 5 a.m. shift. And I didn't want to do that for the rest of my life. So in my 22-year-old brain, I was like, well, what's the furthest place away from Tennessee? It's Hong Kong. So I bought a plane ticket and then went to Hong Kong, landed with about $200 in my bank account and didn't bother getting a work visa because, again, 22. And I had to figure out a way to make rent. So I started Googling how to make money online, which is only slightly less ridiculous than it would be now. And I found this job that popped up, a freelance job for something called copywriting. And I was pretty sure it had to be a scam because I just couldn't imagine that anyone would ever pay me to write. But it turns out they did, and I just loved it, and I've built a business off of that.
Amazing. And it's funny because copywriting, writing that collateral material, and finding the way to speak in that person's voice is something that is really important to find. Yeah. So as you were doing this, what was the biggest challenges for you when you first really started doing this and getting yourself deeper and deeper into copywriting?
So there were, of course, the technical challenges, I think, of just learning the craft because it's different than journalistic writing. It's different than literature writing. But honestly, the main challenges I had, I think, were mindset based because I was so convinced that I could never be a business owner or run a business because, I'm not a math person. I would have never majored in business. And none of the women in my family had ever been in business. They'd all been employed. And so it just never occurred to me that I could build this thing for myself and that it could work and be okay and be an acceptable way of moving throughout the world.
Amazing. It really is. And I love the moving about the world. As somebody who has been on the road when my kids all moved out, I put my stuff in storage and they looked at me, they were like, where are you going? I said, hey, I let you guys go. It wasn't my job to keep you.
Right.
I'm just a phone call away, and I've taken my life on the road for years, and it is awesome. In looking at the marketing trends, what are you seeing now, Rachel?
So there's the obvious one of AI, right? I think that's impacting everything right now. But what I'm really excited to see is actually a swing away from automation to analog. People talk a lot about, we talk about AI slop, we talk a lot about the market being jaded. And so if you're trying to sell anything right now that is even the least bit, anything that's not crazy cheap, you need it to be high touch, you need it to be non-scalable, and you need it to be in some way analog. So I know a bunch of people are going back to in-person meetings and local business. In one of the offers that I do, we just put together a 150-page magazine. Like it's a chunky, leave it on your coffee table, get it in the mail type magazine. And people seem to be really loving just things that you can touch and hold.
I'm happy to see that back. We interview a lot of authors, and
Mm.
I love to read. And I truly love a book in my hand, but honestly, I might read 8 or 9 books a month from guests. So I started doing the ebooks or PDFs,
Yeah.
and I miss it. So I love that you're creating a coffee table magazine,
Yeah.
instead of the online ones that are going on. I'm going to go in a different route.
Mhm.
Why so often does the marketing advice out there actually set people up to fail?
So I've actually been shouting about this on the internet for like 5 years, and I finally was able to articulate the reason why. Because I kept seeing people being sold these courses, being sold these processes, and it works for like 2 people, and everybody else just feels bad. And so what I figured out is that for a sale to happen, you have to have 4 elements in place, and they all have to happen, which is you have to have the right thing in front of the right person at the right time and in the right way. Now, out of that, you can only control like maybe 2 of those elements if you're lucky. You don't have any control over the timing with which someone sees your marketing. You don't have any control over the way in which they prefer to get the data given to them. But marketing advice is predicated as though you do have control over all 4 of those factors. And if it doesn't work for you, well, then there's something wrong with you. You didn't want it badly enough. You didn't hustle hard enough. You didn't follow the process. And that drives me so crazy because it's just not your fault. You just can't control every factor that goes into making a sale.
It's true. And again, it's those pain points.
Mm-hmm.
It is really reaching that person, and people forget in marketing, what's in it for me?
Right.
You can have all the marketing you want, but ultimately the consumer wants to know what's in it for me. Why you? Why
Mm-hmm.
your product? Why your service? And you have to find that way to show them that you are that person that can solve their problem. And I think that that's why copywriting, finding those words, finding a way to craft somebody's message
Mm.
to make you effective, to make you be that person, because there are so many people out there. There
Right.
are, no matter what, there are very few things that there is only one of.
Right.
How do
Yeah.
you deal with that challenge when you are working with a client?
I mean, I think while it is true that there are multiples of everybody, I mean, there's thousands, tens of thousands of marketers out there, tens of thousands of coaches. There is something unique about every person or every product, and that is the person who's presenting it. There
Mhm.
is no one who can Dory like you do. There's no one who Rachel's like I do. And if you can bring that, and if you can bring your values and your human quirkiness and complexity and those things that you truly care about, that's where I always start with differentiating. Because as you said, there's only so much difference you can bring to, say, a coaching session. There are only so many different ways you can make a candle. But if you get into like, why did I do this? Why does this matter to me? Why does this matter to my family? How do our values align here? That's when people start to resonate with you. And studies have shown that that's what people are most focused on right now, actually. They want to buy from brands they feel values aligned with.
Know, like, and trust.
Right.
Those very, very important things, especially in today's world. We are looking at who we are buying from supports, what
Hmm.
their values are, because our values, I think, are being so challenged
Right.
right now. And it's hard because so many people have gotten into the convenience
Mm.
of online shopping, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And the mom and pop markets dried up so much. And now people are cognizant of it. They're really aware of the fact that you contributed tremendously to these businesses closing. And that focusing on that small business, being able to go to name brand coffee stores, you can go to mom and pop coffee store and get wonderful products and things like that. And I think more and more people are circling back to that.
Yes.
I think it's people like you that are helping.
I mean,
make
I
that
hope so.
happen.
That's what I've worked for very large organizations, and I've also worked for a bunch of individual people. And regardless of the orientation there, what I love is being able to bring something to a local community and being able to help people find each other and really have a mutual win out of whatever the relationship is.
Agreed. And it is a win-win. It
Mm.
really is. As you help that small business grow, as you help that entrepreneur, that mompreneur, that business owner that's out there doing something, each purchase matters. It really, truly does. And it helps the message get out there and further what they're doing. So when you work with somebody, Rachel, I'm a brand new client. I'm coming to you. I want to promote Word of Mom.
Yeah.
How are you going to work with me? How does that work with you?
Well, the first thing that I want to know is just what do you want? What do you want your marketing to do? What do you want to happen in your business in, let's say, the next 6 months? Because that tends to be enough time for people to hold in their heads. And then I say, okay, like I understand your goals. Now, what are you doing to reach them now? What have you tried before? Did it work? Did it not? Do you know why? Most of the time, people don't. And then I'll come to you with a plan and say, okay, based on your goals, this is what I suggest we do. And here's how we're going to see if it worked or not. And I tend to work in 90-day chunks because that gives you enough data to really get a good understanding of what's happened. It saves people from shiny squirrel syndrome where it's like, oh, we did this last week, but we're doing this week. And then, and then you don't really know if anything's working or not. And so we check in about every 90 days. And if we're doing just a one-off project, we'll close it off then. And I'll send you off with some lovely support and implementation. And if we do ongoing work, then we'll just check in about every quarter, maybe even sooner than that, and keep the project going.
See, I think people don't realize how it's those chunks.
Yeah.
It's those chunks, and then the chunk moves forward and you can space it out more. I think very often when we are looking to do marketing and things like that, most importantly, you need to know what you want, what you are
Yes.
trying to accomplish. And I think very often, and correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of times people, they have an end goal in mind, but they're not really sure of who they are, what their messaging really is.
Right. Well, and especially they'll have a goal that it's like, I want more brand visibility. And I'm like, cool, how are you going to measure that? What does that actually look like? Or I want more sales. How many more? To whom? Of what? And so you really have to ground that goal in, as you said, who are we? What are we doing? What do we want? Otherwise, you can chase that forever because it's like you want more social media followers. Okay, when does it end? Do you have the whole world? Like, is that what we're going for? And so I try to give people just some like boundaries around it so that they don't end up spinning in this constant state of being not enough, which I feel like so many women are primed to get into.
On that note, think of what Rachel just said, please. We're going to take a quick break, say thank you to our supporters, and we'll be back here in just a moment on Word of Mom Radio. She is brave, she is bold, she is you, and we want to tell your story. Are you ready to share your journey with us on Word of Mom Radio? Go to wordofmomradio.com and register as a guest. We want to tell your story because when you win, we all win.
In 2017, Unsilenced Voices was formed to help survivors of domestic abuse and gender-based violence worldwide. The organization currently serves Sierra Leone, Rwanda, Ghana, and the USA. In 2022, Unsilenced Voices gifted over $33,000 to survivors in the USA. And in Sierra Leone, there are over 26 young girls who have been rescued from sex trafficking and domestic abuse and now going through vocational training school in order to better their lives. We need your help. Donations are critical in order for us to continue our work. We also need volunteers to help with research and development. Please visit unsilencedvoices.org for more information.
And we're back here on Word of Mom Radio. We are speaking with Rachel Allen. And I love what you just said because it is so true. I want all these social media followers. What kind of ROI are they giving you? It doesn't matter if you have tens of thousands of people following you, if not one of them has bought your product or your service. All
Exactly.
that means is that you've got the bright, shiny object that they like to click on, but not do action. How do you get people to take actionable steps?
Right.
That's the biggest piece about marketing. What kind of advice can you give people to get people to take that next step, to actually hit the buy button?
So this is going to sound so simple and people hear it and they're like, no, that can't possibly be it. But the very like basic thing that I tell people to do is make sure that you have an incredibly clear, specific call to action. So the reason for this is a little like neuroscience detour. When our brains get to the end of anything, it wants to look for the next easiest thing to do because brains are huge energy resource takers. So you want to find the next easy thing. They don't want to think about it. So if I get to the end of an email and I don't know what to do next, then it's like, oh, that's uncomfortable. I don't want to think about it. Just close it. Just get it away. But if I get to the end of the email and it's like, hey, click here to buy this. Okay, I guess I like click here. I guess I check it out. So have a clear call to action. And what I also specifically say, more so to women than men, is make sure that you don't accidentally apologize for your call to action. Because I see so many people bring this stuff into their sales pages and it's like, buy my thing or not. It's totally cool. Email me instead or follow me on social media or like, like don't buy, it's fine, whatever. And I'm like, no, just say buy the thing and let people make their own decisions.
I think you are so right. When it comes to women, men, it statistically shows a man will see a job application out there and he's maybe 50% qualified for it and will totally go for that job. A woman waits until they meet all the qualifications. I've heard women, oh, I've been home for years. I don't really have any marketable skills. It's like, what? Are you kidding? Conflict resolution, scheduling, budgeting, time management. Are you kidding? You are a born CEO. You've run a family.
Right.
That's the hardest thing to do because there is no manual. They don't, here you go. Other than don't forget to feed the kids. You're basically on your own. And it's amazing because women really do. We apologize. You are so correct. Oh, I'm sorry. But, if you have time,
right. Like buy it or pay me less, like email me for a discount. Absolutely not. That drives me insane. I actually just ran a panel on the wage gap in entrepreneurship. And while women owned businesses account for 4.3% of the US GDP, women on average charge 28% less for their services than male owned businesses. And that drives me crazy because it's the same thing, equal pay for equal work. We've been talking about this for centuries. And yet we're so, I suppose, convinced of our own inferiority that we're like, well, this is just my little hobby business. I don't deserve to charge as much. Absolutely not. You should charge what you are worth.
Without a doubt. And it's amazing because women really do.
Yeah.
We struggle with, I can't add that price. Sorry. Jimmy sees that Joey's charging $150. He sees it charging $1,500 or $15,000 for their marketing plan. And so he's like, well, if he's going to get that price, then I'm going to charge that price.
Right.
And then you see women undercut themselves because they're afraid of losing the sale. Lose the sale. You're worth the money. It's like going to buy a car. You go to buy a car, here's what you're willing to pay. And if you're not willing to walk out the door because they're not going to work with you, then they know their money's in your pocket and they're just trying to figure out how to talk you out of it. But if you're willing to walk out that door, trust me, you're going to find the place that you're going to get the car that you want because you're not buying a car that there's only one of.
Right.
And somebody's going to give you the price that you want.
Right.
And it's the same thing so often. So women out there who are listening to this, don't be afraid to ask for what you're worth. It's worth losing the sale. It really is worth losing the sale if you wind up at the end of the day, it costs you money to do this.
And even if, let's say, you make a bunch of money doing it, but it costs you in stress, or the client's a real pain to work with, or it takes up so much of your time that your opportunity cost doesn't work out, like it's just not worth it. I understand how tempting it is, especially if you're in a position where you really need it. But I can promise you, if you just wait it out, something better will come along.
It will, because you're worth it.
Yeah.
You're worth it. And again, we as women, I don't know why we feel that need to step back and second guess. Ooh, can I do this? Yes, you can. And
Yeah.
you're going to do it great. This cartoon, this woman sitting at a desk, and she has just piles, stacks in the inbox, the outbox. And she says, I can't tell you how relaxing it is to run a company after I raised a family. You know, we have so many skills and we deserve to be paid for them. So I'm going to go back into give us a tactical change that people can make in their marketing today that are going to have these long lasting effects down the line, Rachel.
So the first thing I always tell people is if you don't have a website, get a website. It can be one page. You can get a little Squarespace template. It is very easy to make something for yourself. Assuming you have that though, what I always recommend is go around and update your bios on, if you have a media page, do it there. If you have social media, do it on there. Make sure your bio is updated. Make sure it is focused on your business specifically. I see a lot of people try to show their personality through their bio by being like, mom of three, love this sports team, drink coffee, hee hee lol. And I'm like, okay, but you're more serious than tee hee lol, you know? It is, I am the CEO of blah, blah, I do this, let me help you. So just make sure that your bio is up to date, make sure it's professional, and make sure it's focused on what you provide in your service provider or product provider relationship.
What for you has been the biggest challenge that you've had to overcome, Rachel?
I think the biggest challenge was I spent a good 5 years chasing somebody else's version of success. And so I started out working by myself. I had gotten to the point where I wanted to do a little bit less writing and a little more strategy work. And so instead of doing a little bit less writing and a little more strategy work, I started an agency model in my business because that's what the successful people did. And I didn't actually want that. I didn't really want to run my own team. I enjoy working in other people's teams and then going home and not have to worry about it. But I really tried to make it work and I just pushed that boulder up the hill and it just never got easier. But then, of course, like 3 years in, we've got the sunk cost fallacy where I'm like, oh, but I like one more year and then it's going to work. And, it just never did. And so I had to make the very hard decision to switch away from the agency model back to what I do now, knowing that it was going to harm my business for a couple years. And I'm coming out of it. I'm just now having cleaned up all the messes that I made for myself. But whether you go with an agency model or not, I think the lesson there is you really have to know your own version of success because it is so easy to spend a lot of time and a lot of money chasing somebody else's dream.
I can't think of a better way to start wrapping up that conversation. Rachel, as we do close out, what do you want to leave our listeners with? What do you want to say to those women out there that are working on their business and trying to figure out how to make their marketing work? And how may they reach out to you?
So something I've said for a really long time is that human is the only move left. And as we've all seen, we go through these periodic implosions in the marketing world where whatever was working before doesn't work anymore. It's the SEO changes or reels take over or whatever. But the one thing that pulls businesses through every single time is the quality of humanity they're able to bring to their marketing and the relationships they're able to build. So that's what I would just remind you. Whatever technique is falling apart on you, don't worry about it. You're going to learn a new one, but focus on your relationships and focus on being as human as you possibly can in your marketing. And I promise it will pull you through.
It's amazing because authenticity is so key right now. People doing videos, there was that push to be so professional,
right?
Edit this and do this and everything else. And now people are realizing, you know what? I get more response when I'm just holding my phone or doing a little something because people want real.
Right.
Again, going back, know, like, trust. When they know you, they like you, they trust you. It's funny because it's that balancing act. Sometimes they know you so well, your trust aspect goes down a little bit. That then you'll say something and they're like, I'm not sure. But then somebody they don't really know well says the same thing. And it's like, oh, and they'll repeat it back to you going, I said that last week.
Right.
Whatever. But again, it's that fine line that we walk.
Right.
In building those relationships because it is relationship marketing. And again, I really think in today's climate, the more people know you, the more they want to support what you are doing.
Absolutely.
I think it is critical to just authentically be you. Nobody does you better than you. You
Yeah.
said, that's it. How can people reach out to you, Rachel?
You can find me at boltfromthebluecopywriting.com, connect with me on LinkedIn, or you can email me at hello@boltfromthebluecopywriting.com, like it is the olden days, and I will email you back.
All of Rachel's links are going to be live on wordofmomradio.com. I really suggest reach out as you are honing your marketing, as you are doing things. An outside eye can really help you crystallize your message. So here's somebody with a lot of experience and a willingness to help you. Go for it. Rachel, thank you for taking the time to share your journey with us here on Word of Mom Radio. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been such a delight.
It's been my pleasure. And to all of you tuning in, thanks so much for being here. We're going to close out with our fabulous theme song from Smith Sisters and the Sunday Drivers. So till next time, this is Dori DeCarlo saying go out and create a marvelous you. Bye for now.
She is sure. She is sure. She is strong. She is strong. She is true. She is true. She is brave. She is brave. She is bold. She is bold. She is you. She is you. She is you. She is you. She is sure. She is sure. She is strong. She is strong. She is true. She is true. She is brave. She is brave. She is bold. She is bold. She is you. She is you. She is you. She is you. Sure of herself, yeah, she takes care of biz. Powerful and strong, yeah, she knows who she is. Has integrity, woman strong and true. You know her by name, see this woman is you. She is sure. She